This is not so cute. It combines two of my favorite things, kuromi and, of course, an LED light. What? It's the little things, I think, truly. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. We are back here again on the flow. Yep, I really like it here. I feel like it's a really nice, it's a cute little setup, no? I'm just on the floor of my bedroom, guys. Like, this is so, again, it's the small things, guys. It's the small things that really spark joy for me, which leads me into the topic of this video. I think across the board, no matter what generation a user may be from, we're all collectively just tired of the internet and just tired of being addicted to our phones and having to have such a dependency on them. Media is literally, the name is in my degree, right? Digital media as a whole dictates my entire career. And of course, I was also the generation where we were using Facebook at 11 and or using Instagram at 13 and 14. A word that's been popularized in the last few years is like dopamine hits, dopamine rush. It's essentially what we get from doom scrolling or like endlessly, mindlessly scrolling on our phones. And I've definitely done that. I almost rely on it whenever I'm going through something stressful, and I really hate admitting that, but I think a lot of us can relate to that. I remember being on YouTube one day and seeing a video about making a dopamine menu. Literally, it was designed like a menu, and it was featuring activities that boost dopamine. And it could be something as simple as hanging out with your friends, or something as like going for a walk, or I don't know, something. But then another thing that I did notice was that it's called the dopamine menu, but technically you actually have 4 happy hormones, or 4 feel-good hormones as they're commonly referred to as. And I thought to myself, well, wouldn't it make a lot more sense for me to create a menu that featured activities that stimulated all of the hormones? Is that crazy? I don't think so. I think it makes a lot of sense, because I feel like that's more conducive to creating, like, you know, or to promoting emotional regulation. Like, I want to do activities that release all of those hormones in my body. So as I mentioned earlier, there are 4 feel-good hormones, and they are serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. They all are triggered depending on whatever it is that you're doing and whatever it is that you're feeling. But essentially, these are supposed to give you feelings of happiness, joy, pleasure, relief, relaxation, things like that. So in my menu that I crafted up, and I'm so happy with it, I'm so proud of it, I called it the Happy Hormone Cafe. And each section is actually different activities that cater to each hormone. I'm so proud of it. I just think it's so smart. Like, what? I really ate that. If I look down periodically, just know that I'm referencing works and articles and my notes. So that's what this is. So serotonin is also nicknamed the mood stabilizing hormone. Serotonin plays a role in your mood, your digestion. It says nausea. I'm not getting into that. Sleep, wound healing, bone health, and sexual health. And it really drives home the point that, like, you are what you eat. Your gut is where most of your serotonin is, as it controls your digestion. So if you have poor gut health, it wouldn't be shocking if you're not in the best mood all the time, if at all. Whenever I was making this Happy Hormone Cafe menu, I put the following for my serotonin meals, right? I said binge reading, listening to music, learning something new, eating nutritious foods, and having slow mornings and evenings, right? So the thing with like listening to music or even binge reading, I am consuming media that inspires me. As a creative myself, I love listening to artists or reading a new book or reading an article or binge reading manga, because one, I love, you know, trying to understand what the artist or the author was trying to convey, or what the meaning behind their songs or their work is. There's just something about learning a new piece of information that is so exciting for me, because I like being a smart girl. It does give me a serotonin boost, especially when I go on forums and I see what other fans or other consumers are saying. I love to engage with them. I love to do that. Like, it really itches my brain real good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it does something for me. Love learning. I was that girl in school. I loved raising my hand. Loved that, okay? I love learning something new. I think it's just so fun. And also I think it makes life worth living for me, because it's just like, there's so many more things to know. I read a quote somewhere that said, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't actually know. And I think that's what makes life so interesting, because you imagine knowing everything. You'd be so bored. Like, why would I do that to myself? Another thing that I listed, of course, was eat nutritious foods. I was raised in a household where most things were made from scratch for the most part. And that's really saying something, right? I had a single mom with a full-time job. I don't know how she did it, but she did do it, and I'm grateful nonetheless. And of course, I'm nowhere near the level of my mother just yet, but when it comes to making things, I do have an incentive to make them myself or to make them from scratch because that is what I'm accustomed to. Being regular and not really having stomach issues growing up, girl, that was a flex. I didn't even know. We love a good stew. Rice and stew? Listen, I listed on here slow mornings and evenings. I find that when I have slow mornings, my day is so much better. When I have a slow evening, I'm more inclined to sleep earlier, and then when I have a slow morning, I'm more ready for the day mentally. I remember there was a day where I woke up a little bit earlier than normal because I had something going on, but I just had more time in my morning. I remember I had like an hour and a half, 2 hours to myself just to take my time and to do whatever I needed. And by the time I got to work, I had probably meetings galore. I was good. I was fine. Like really taking the time to wind down at night and to really like slowly wind myself back up in the morning. It is a mood stabilizer. I'm not stressed. I'm not like worried. I'm not anxious about anything. Prioritizing that has been super helpful. And one thing you're going to realize actually when I go through the rest of these hormones is that they oftentimes overlap because they're triggered typically simultaneously, like almost always at the same time. So that's serotonin for you. Okay. It is the hormone that's really about regulation more than anything. So endorphins are nicknamed the natural painkillers of the body. And these are natural chemicals that help with relieving pain and stress. So whenever you are experiencing it, your brain sends endorphins to help mitigate that. They work by either inducing pleasure or by blocking pain signals. Triggers include, again, moving the body, exercise, laughter, love doing that, spicy food, music, meditating, and social connection. Another thing is also for the grown folks out there, sexy time. So endorphins are your body's way of just literally and physically making you feel good. On my Happy Hormone Cafe menu, I listed the following as my endorphin meals. Laughing. One thing I'm gonna do is laugh. What? Honestly, the people I surround myself with, a good chunk of them are genuinely hilarious. Like, I was raised by a funny woman. I have funny, beautiful friends. And yeah, I giggle, but also I laugh hard. Oh my God. Forming abs, like falling over in laughter, which I've done before. I also listed long vacations. That's how I feel less pain. That one's very specific because whenever I'm on vacations, I'm gone for like quite a while. And typically when I'm on them, that's whenever I'm finding the time to like think, meditate. I go out dancing typically. I've gone to so far walkable cities. So I put long vacations under mine because I'm literally doing all of those things because I actually have the time to do them. Another one on here is making art. And I put that there because I do love to make art. Like to me, the way I edit my videos, that is artistic expression because I do factor in my own graphics. I don't use any templates. I don't use any plugins, add-ons, and I'm not shaming those who do. But for me, the enjoyment of making these videos comes from literally creating them and creating the art that I put in them, such as the thumbnails and little icons, little graphics, the way that I manipulate the text. I love that. I eat that up. I'm obsessed with that. And the last thing that I added on here was journaling. Now, even though I actually do things like yoga, like I really do go to yoga for like fitness and stuff like that, the things that really help me like relieve my stress or to like ease emotional pain is literally documenting my feelings because I feel like I think so many thoughts that they're very disorganized in my head. And once I put it on paper, I'm able to actually like see, like physically see everything that I'm feeling because I literally regurgitated it onto paper. And being able to understand myself is what helps me calm down and that's what helps me feel better. So even if I'm like experiencing emotional turmoil or I'm just really in my feelings about something, oftentimes it's really hard for me to pinpoint exactly what it is when I'm feeling it. And I don't think that's very uncommon either. One, it helps me get it out of my system. And then it also assists with helping me understand myself. It just helps me ease my anxiety. It really did help. I'm not gonna hold you. It did. It did. So dopamine is nicknamed the reward chemical. This is the hormone that influences motivation. It gets you to do activities that will feel rewarding upon accomplishing them. So it plays a role in movement, memory, a pleasurable reward and motivation, attention, sleep and arousal, your mood, your ability to learn, and lactation, if that applies to you. Activities that boost dopamine for me would include cleaning and organizing my space because, I love how I feel whenever my apartment and my bedroom and all my spaces are clean. I can actually like exhale, relax, and not worry about anything because I feel like the state of my space is a reflection of the state of my mind. And if it's clutter out here, it's clutter in here. And another one is updating my planner. If something is not written down, it's not getting done. I love stationery. I'm a big fan of gorgeous stationery. So I have a cute planner. I use the Roadrunner planner. I have been for the past, I want to say like 3 or 4 years now. And I think it's easily one of the best planners out there because it really does center around goal setting. Also centers gratitude and just for you to like be present and to really look at your life according to who you are in certain spaces and in certain areas. What I love about it is how it forces me to really think about my goals and to really make them or to implement them into my daily or weekly planning. And I love how it also has moments of reflection so I can even look back on the week or even the month that I've had. And there's spaces for notes so I can even jot down my thoughts. It's a planner and a journal into one. I love using my highlighters. I love using my mod liners, my Pilot gel pens. I love all that. That is my jam. That is my shiz. Love it. And this falls into my next point, right? Making and completing to-do lists, which I do in my planner. I update things in my planner and then I actually check off the things that I was supposed to do. I love that feeling that I get from checking it off. It is so rewarding. It is the best feeling for me. When you get through everything, bro, I sleep so good that night. And another thing that I put on here is shopping. That's only because I'm an intentional buyer the majority of the time. I love the feeling of buying things, especially if it's things that I anticipated buying or things that I planned for or things that I've just been wanting for a very long time because I really will sit on something for quite some time before buying it. So when I do, it do be feeling good. And now we have oxytocin, AKA the love hormone. This is apparently a natural hormone that manages key aspects in our reproductive systems. So when it comes to childbirth, oxytocin is your girl. So oxytocin acts as a chemical messenger in your brain and has an important role in many human behaviors and social interactions, including sexual arousal, obviously, recognition, trust, romantic attachment, and parental attachment, specifically parent-infant bonding. So I listed the following. Spending time with loved ones. As I'm entering my late 20s, I'm really understanding the importance of community and also just surrounding yourself with people who make you feel seen and supported and loved, of course, right? Because if they didn't love you, they wouldn't do any of those things, right? And loved ones for me include family. That includes my chosen family and, of course, my immediate family and making time for them and showing up for them. So that definitely increases the bond and the love and the trust that we have with each other. So spending time with loved ones is a big one for me, which is why it's at the top. Another thing that I listed as well was alone time. Really giving myself the space to enjoy my own company, which I always have, by the way. Even though I have siblings, they're so much older than me. I was literally raised as an only child, so I was always preoccupied with my own interests. I've always just made myself a priority anyway. So right now, alone time for me is just really giving myself the time to recharge and to recuperate and to really cater to myself without it being at the expense of other people. It allows me to fill up my cup so I can show up for others and pour into other people, tying that back into spending time with loved ones, right? And with that, I also put resting because out of love for myself and out of admiration for my dreams and my goals, I have to rest. I have to know when to sit down and to shut the hell up. Like resting is conducive to production in general. Like it's literally a part of the productive process, which I made a video of several years ago that even though it could be edited better, it was still, I knew what I was saying. It was a really well put together video. I knew what I was talking about, okay? I appreciate the body that I have. I appreciate the time that I'm being given. And the only way that I can fully appreciate it is by having the energy to appreciate it. And I won't have the energy if I'm not resting. Beauty maintenance. This is not nearly as vain as it sounds, but even if it is, I don't care, because there's nothing wrong with me wanting to like how I look. I love feeling like myself, and I love whenever I do, whether it's doing my makeup, whether it's wearing a really cute lounge set, just small things that make me feel good. Beauty maintenance is another form of self-love, because beauty does not necessarily mean like wanting to be or needing to be conventionally attractive or needing to look a certain way. I think it's just prioritizing the activities that make you feel good about yourself and your appearance. And that could even just be like finding your look and finding your style, which I've been doing lately. I feel like I've been really coming into my own within the last 2 years. I feel like my style for the longest time was just me doing what I can with what I have instead of really prioritizing what I want. In the last 2 years, I've discovered that cat eye is my glasses shape. I've been wearing glasses since I was 9, and it took me until turning 25 to discover that this is actually the shape for my face. Painting my nails is something that I've always loved doing, and I kind of like fell off for a bit, and then I kind of popped on the acrylic train because that's what the girlies were doing at, you know, in like high school, college. But like, no, I love painting my nails. Like, I always did it as a kid, and specifically I loved painting my nails like blue or purple. I've recently begun doing that again, and I just been loving it so much. Like, I just feel like I'm going back to who I was again, and that's kind of what this has been for me. So even though I wrote this down as beauty maintenance, it really is about me just like doing things that make me feel beautiful instead of like trying to keep up appearances, if that makes sense. So it really just ties into loving myself and just like loving expressing myself and loving the way that I express myself, or how my self-expression is heavily influenced by the love that I have for myself. That's kind of what this whole category is for me as well. So, and that is all I have. It took me a while to actually put this all together, but honestly, it's actually very cute. And yes, I did draw all of those icons myself. I drew the heart, I drew the smiley face, I drew the medal, I drew all that, yup. And I drew the little tea bag that I put on the endorphin section. I hope that this inspired you to make your own. I hope you do. It's a really fun activity, I must say, whether you're doing it digitally like I did, or you are going to make your own. I think both are a great pastime and worth it, ultimately. Thank you guys again, and I hope to see you next time. I'm tired. I'll see y'all in the next one, okay?